So, Madoka has a gacha game, apparently, and it recently got localized, apparently. Can't say I'm too thrilled with the idea of spending thousands at slot machines to build an underage slave army. The one I already have is hard enough to manage. So instead, today let's talk about a Madoka flavored doujin beat 'em up title, because if there's one thing this channel lacks, it's
quality doujin content.
Let's go back in time. The world was just born. Terrifying massive creatures roamed the earth. Humans were grouped together in tribes, constantly fighting each other for resources. It was the year 2011. During this forgotten time, Puella Magi Madoka Magica, also known as just Madoka, or to some Madoka, was produced, and it took the world by storm, subverting and twisting many of these standard magical girl tropes in order to tell a harrowing story of friendship, survival, and love, if you could call it that. Madoka was an instant classic to many, and as one would expect, tons of doujin titles were produced, including Grief Syndrome by Twilight Frontier. This game is a 2D beat 'em up title where you can play as one of the titular Madoka characters, battling your way through stages and bosses based on the witches they encountered. There are 5 stages in total, plus one if something unfortunate happens, and has with it some interesting 2D visuals. Madoka has a very interesting art style whenever a witch puts up her barrier, and these trippy visuals are on full display in each of the stages. Now that's not to say the stages are amazing, they're pretty average, with enemies based on the witch's minions, and only 1 or 2 stages had any sort of gimmick to complicate combat beyond run to the right and God have mercy on anything that gets in your way. What makes it fun though are the characters and how their abilities are represented in the game. Each magical girl has a set of attacks that accurately reflect their capabilities in the show, ranging from Sayaka being an aggressive blood knight tanking damage while dealing it right back, to Mami having an attack with the ribbon, which never really got much focus until the movies.
So that was a fucking lie.
Special note goes to Homaru though. Her time-stopping powers are just as stupid awesome as they were in the show. Keep things balanced though, Homaru's time stop, as well as every other character's super, does come at a price. Using these abilities turns a portion of your character's health blue, and as long as you're careful, it will simply recover over time. Get hit though, and poof. All that character's health goes bye-bye, or at least it does until you begin regenerating it by consuming your character's soul. Adhering to the lore of Madoka, your character's HP only represents their body's durability. Whenever it's damaged, the character's soul limit counter is drained a bit to heal them. Even death gets instantly restored, though at a hefty soul limit cost. The soul limit counter does fully recover every time you beat a boss and nab their grief seed, but be careful to not let that counter hit 0, because if that happens, it's permanent game over for that character, and they will be unable to be used for the rest of the run. Run is an important term though, as the game is honestly quite short. I'm pretty sure if you speedrun it, you could beat the game before this video's over. But you can continue playing it with sequential New Game Plus modes. Each time you finish a run, you get the option to start another run with slightly higher level enemies that give more experience to level your characters faster. Levels don't stick outside of their run though, so each beginning is a clean slate for all your characters. On the bright side, each run also revives characters dead, allowing you to get different endings depending on which characters survive all the way to the end. Beating the game the first time isn't all that hard, but do note each character has their own sets of HP, damage, and soul level stats, so be mindful that badasses like Homaru actually don't have that high of a soul level count, and can die rather quickly. Ironically, due to game balancing, Sayaka gets her moment to shine here, having both high HP levels and soul level, allowing her to soak up damage as well as blitz enemies down quickly. Now for video purposes, most of the gameplay you're seeing is probably going to be focused on Mami, and that is purely waifu bias there, because in game, she kinda struggles to keep her head above water. She's got odd hitboxes, weird ranges on her attacks, and a very high respawn cost, that counters her high soul limit pool. The one good part of her kit has to be her trio finaly that deals tons of damage at the price of turning most if not all her health pool blue when you use it. Good damage, but something that needs a lot of support behind it. Conveniently enough, the game does have a 3-player co-op option. Oh, I guess the game doesn't have multiplayer at all. Nah, I'm kidding. Even for those who don't care about messing with, router settings and port forwarding, you can still start a local multiplayer game and just use a third-party program like Parsec to play it online with friends. Hashtag not sponsored. Overall, short title outside of looping until the enemies start one-shotting you, but not a bad way to kill some time, especially if you can get your hands on some friends to play the co-op with. Even if you can't, it's still a fun doujin title to play solo, where you can pretend to be a lolly maho shoujo kicking ass and taking names. Or you could just build that farming mind that I talked about earlier. I won't judge, I play Fate. Different strokes for different folks. Either way, just a short doujin spotlight, and I'll see you guys next time. Matane!